Liberty's high school lunch is a commonly talked about subject due to the lack of food in A lunch and the ghost town that is C lunch. But why are these issues and many more occurring with these lunches, and how can we fix them? I'm reporter Burke Doyle, and today we're going to be discussing why these are happening and how we can move forward to fix them. Firstly, let's talk about the lack of food. We should first establish that Liberty doesn't actually ever run out of food. There's always some food you can get, but preferred meals do run out when people take too many. This is still an issue, and so today I talked with Justin Colbert, Liberty High School's principal, to figure out why this is.
I think what students maybe don't realize with it is that it's really challenging because there's not a set number of students who eat lunch every single day. So it's really kind of a guessing game to determine how many meals to prepare each day, and sometimes they get it right, and some days they're underestimating for the amount of people who are going to have school lunch that day. There may be a day where there's a popular item, and the nutrition staff does learn and try to adjust as needed. But there's just certain days when a lot more people are going to eat school lunch than other days, and we try to minimize the amount of waste that's occurring.
That was issue number one. Liberty never has a 100% accurate number of how many people are eating lunch or in which lunch, which wouldn't be a major problem if everybody stayed in their lunches. This is where the second big issue comes in. And so to address this issue, I've talked to Sharon Myers, the kitchen manager here at Liberty, to find out more about people skipping around lunches.
What we're seeing is there's a lot of, and what we're hearing is a lot of students want to eat with their friends in a different lunch, so they go to that lunch. So when you do that, it affects the rest of the lunch shifts, because what we're seeing right now is an influx, a huge influx of students into A lunch, which affects B lunch and C lunch.
Normally, this wouldn't be a major issue, as with lunch split up into three main groups, being A, B, and C, food is spread out for everybody. However, recently there's been a large influx of students that have been going to A, and they've been taking all of the extra meals, which means that there's nothing left for the actual people who eat A lunch. Just to give you an example of how bad this issue is, this is a side-by-side comparison of A lunch versus B lunch. As you can see, there's essentially nobody in B lunch compared to A. Even if everybody actually stayed in their own lunches, there would still be one major issue: free school lunches. This year, there's a waiver for every student that means that everybody, and I mean everybody, can get a school lunch 100% free. However, you may not have known, this doesn't apply to just one school lunch, but all school lunches. So hypothetically, if a student got 2 school lunches for themselves, both would be free. The same applies for 3, 4, and even 5. This really goes on forever, and so you will see students taking upwards of 3, 4, even 5 lunches all for themselves. And this has become a major issue for A lunch because students who are taking 3 or more lunches means that there's not really anything left for the other students. How many meals did you get?
I got 2. I got 3. He got 3 lunch.
I see people all the time that clock. So how do we fix this? There are 2 major issues that could help stop people from taking too much lunch in A or leaving nothing for everybody else. The first is when the free school lunch waivers end. This is something we're just going to have to wait on, but this is one big way we can fix this, because it will stop those people that are taking 6 to 7 lunches for themselves, and this will help spread out the food more evenly to everybody. The second main way we can fix this is by having everybody go to their correct lunches. As a fellow student who has more than once gone to my incorrect lunch, I understand how much it sucks to have to go to your actual lunch, but really that's the only way to fix this, because otherwise everybody piled into A takes up the food not just for everybody in A, but for everybody in general.
That's a big part of it, a big chunk of it that we can do. Just be responsible, each student be responsible for themselves and not worry about what other people, just because some other kids are doing it, and they say, hey, I can do, it won't matter, just come to A lunch or come to B lunch or whatever. No, it affects everybody.